Hello everyone. Finally, we are starting the Glock on the actual build itself, and this is the frame. I did take out the mag release, as you can see. I took out the mag release just so I can Dremel a little bit easier. As I said in the previous episode, I am going to be using a Dremel. I'm going to be sanding down the grip texturing, the existing grip texturing. So I'm going to be doing the back strap, the sides, the front. I'm going to be doing a undercut under the trigger guard, as well as just taking out some of the material on the bottom. So I'm going to start. Pretty much, this is a bit worrying for me. I'm a bit nervous about it, but hopefully I'm just going to go slow. I will figure out as I go along how to do it. I do have a couple pictures to me to use as a reference on the side here, so I know kind of how much to cut down. But this is kind of the big start, the grand opening, if you will. So I'm going to plug in the Dremel, and then I'm going to get started. So Dremel is on. But first, one thing I do want to do is I do want to use a ruler to cut to mark. With a marker to mark on the bottom which parts I'm going to cut on this picture. So there are cuts here and here, so when you put your finger on it, so I'm going to be cutting there, so I need to get a pen and a marker, and I need to figure out what places I want to cut, what places I want to mark it at. So come off the side. Ideally I want to start to cut around. Dropping these all over the place. Ideally, I want to start to cut around here, so I'm going to draw a mark here. Make sure it is straight. Right? I'll move down a little bit. Basically, this is the point where I don't want to pass. Of course, and these markers you can always get rid of the marks you made with some alcohol. So that's good about using. That's the good thing about using permanent marker, is that it's not actually permanent. You can just use a marker and get rid of it. Now I will be making the lines a bit closer rather than farther, because you can always take away more material, but you can't actually ever add it back. So I'm just trying to figure out what point I want to start it at. Actually, here might be actually good, because the undercut actually takes away a bit more material. It's available. So I'll make a mark here for now. Well, obviously these marks, so as you can see, I don't really know if you can see on camera, but yeah, you can. There are those two lines I just drew. Those are the lines that are going to be my guidelines for when I Dremel the bottom, but that's going to be the last thing I do today. I would try and hopefully get all of it recorded, and I'll try to finish most of the Dremeling today. It shouldn't really take too long. I'm not actually sure how long it takes. The stippling is mainly the hardest part. But I'm going to figure out how to get that to work. We'll see how long it takes. So, I don't really know how to start. Like I said before, I do want to keep the Glock logo on it. So I do want to keep that logo on it, so I will have to Dremel around the logo. I don't really know how quickly the Dremel is going to go through the material. I'm just going to have to kind of wait and see. So, I'm going to get started. Oh, this is nervous. This is nerve-wracking for me. I just keep dropping the frame, doesn't matter anymore. It's gonna get sanded off to shit. So I'm gonna also sand off the front as well. There, and then obviously the bottom and everything. Really nervous to get started. Well, I just did a tiny little bit. As you can see, it has taken away some of the material. This one is a little rough. I don't actually have any other bits. This one's basically the only one I have that can work. It is a little bit rough, but I will go over it later on with sandpaper. I'll smooth it out before I stipple it. So, but as of right now, actually it's turning out quite well. So I just need to I need to sand off some grip texture. So just a quick tip, when you do this, make sure that you're not anywhere where you care about having a mess around, because it sprays plastic everywhere, and it does get quite hot, it does heat up quite quickly. So if you're not careful, you will melt. If you're not careful, you'll melt your slide, and two, if you're not careful, you'll get hot plastic everywhere. Especially if you're in your eye. If you're not wearing eye protection, I'm wearing glasses, so I'm somewhat safe for that. But as you can see, I've just done a little bit, and it's already started to smooth out, take it off. As far as width goes, as you can see, it's down a little bit, but I still need to go down a bit more. And the back strap, I'm not too sure I'm going to get rid of it, because I do need to get rid of a lot of this texturing. So it will be a smooth surface, or at least smooth enough so that when you stipple it, you're not really going to notice that there was something here before. But so far, my nerves are calmed a little bit, so I'm going to keep working on this. So, I have drilled quite a bit off, as you can see. It's going well. Camera says only 50 seconds left, so I better hurry this up. But basically, as you can see, I've done already this part. It's smoothing out. You don't really feel over here. You don't really feel that there's much of a difference in height. Over here, I'm going to be working a bit more because it's still a bit and bottom. And I'm keeping the Glock logo. It's actually not too hard to keep the logo, so that's good. So I'll finish this, and I'll finish over here and everything. Battery's running out or the time is running out on this film, so I'm going to stop this cut and I'll start a new cut. Earlier when I said to wear eye protection, but I said I'm okay because I have glasses? Some plastic went on my eye, I'm stupid. Okay. Oh man, there's plastic in my eye! Oh. Oh man. Oh, that hurts. Oh, I have plastic in my eye. Also, another thing to note, if you value your eyes, wear eye protection, like serious eye protection that are wrapped around, not just glasses instead of scoping, because it's so good. Well, the sides are done, I'm going to work on the back now. So, this is what it looks like before. Hopefully it won't look like this in about another 5 minutes. We'll see. Little bit of aggressive work on it, and it definitely sanded down a bit. I don't know how much I want to go down because it's going to change the angle if I'm not careful. So we're starting to wear quite a bit of material. So I have to be very mindful of that. So if you opt to try and sand down the backstrap, do it slowly, be careful with it. Like, do some turn it off, check, do some turn it off, check, because you don't want to change the actual angle of the grip, because it might feel a little uneven, so work on it slowly. I'm trying my best to do it, but yeah, it looks like it is being toned down. Once I stipple it, I may notice a bit of a pattern, a bit of previously was under, but hopefully not too much. Now this gets to the tricky part, because I don't want to go above the pin, but I may have to, because I don't know how accurate I'm gonna be, but I'm gonna try and keep it under the pin and just, you know, Dremel around here. Also, another thing to do is try and make sure your grip angle is try and make sure the surfaces are about even, and they don't feel like one side sanded more than the other. That is something you will notice when you are actually, once you're holding your gun. You may not notice it when you're holding it, but you definitely notice it when you touch it or when you look at it. Obviously, small imperfections, if it's a tiny bit off, you may not notice, or you may not notice about it. You may feel like it might be a bit different, but all in all, you really won't notice it. So now I'm gonna work on the front, and then after that we'll work on the undercut, and then the mark down here. This part should be fairly easy. You just Dremel around here and do this. It's a little rough, but as you can see, it's basically, it's real easy. This part's pretty easy because it does follow the curve a bit. If you do get a bit of melted plastic because you're working quickly or you're working too hard on it, just rub some sandpaper on it and it will smooth out in no time, because you may not be able to reach some of the spots that you get melted plastic into with the Dremel, but you'll be able to reach it with sandpaper. So if you get melted plastic, don't worry too much. It's easy to remove. One thing I should note is that I'm keeping the finger grooves. Some people don't like to keep the finger grooves. Some people just like a straight grip. And if you do that, you have to Dremel a lot more material, but you can. It is possible. It's not really impossible. You're just taking off material. You just need to make sure if you do that, if you do get rid of your finger grooves, if you want more like a 1911 style or whatever you want, just make sure that you keep the curvature out of the front portion of the grip. You don't actually go over and make it flat, or definitely make sure that you do not cut in two, or just basically go through the plastic or the polymer, because then you will really be screwed. Because if you go through it, pretty much means you need a new frame, and it doesn't mean you need a new frame because you went through it, just purely because you went through it, but it's because you're going to see a hole in it. Maybe you could melt some plastic on top or something and fix it somehow, but be very careful when you're doing this. You don't want to go through the polymer plastic. It is kind of thick. It's not really super thin, but it is possible to go through it, so just make a note of that. Make sure you don't go through it, and if you do, that just makes sense. Well, that's about done for the grips, for the grip portion of it. Now I have to work on the undercut under here. So how I will be doing undercut is very simple. You basically just take your Dremel and you Dremel down here until you get more material off, because what happens is with the Glock grip, you hold it down here, but then some people like a bit of a higher grip, so they cut down a bit of material over here. And you can see here on the photo, there's a very small difference between actually here and up here. And so that's what's going to be happening. It's not actually that much. It's not actually that little material in that picture. It looks like it's a lot. It looks like it's very small. But that's because they round on the edges. There's less material here. It's about I'd say it's about 2/3 of the material that's actually here. So it's still very stable. You're not actually going to worry about cracking your polymer or bending it or anything because it's weaker. It's not really going to get weaker unless you go too far in. So that's what I'm going to work on now. So I think what I'm doing is just take the Dremel instead of just working down here. I'm just taking the material up here. I'm not too sure how to do this part. This part actually be a bit more difficult. But what I've seen people do is they essentially run the Dremel here and just run back and forth. How smooth it is. I will go over the sandpaper later if it's not too symmetrical, but it feels pretty good to me. Need to obviously make sure that at the bottom, as you can see here, the line is a little bit. Hello, focus please. You can see here the line's not completely straight. We'll have to work on. I think I don't know if I'll use the Dremel to get that. Maybe just try it now. But yeah, I do want to try and get it smooth. So the checkering on the front, I'm going to get rid of that now. That's the checkering on the front gone. Very easy. Dremeling is actually not very hard. This is actually, I won't lie, this is actually the first time I've ever used a Dremel. I've watched people use it before, but this is the first time I've actually used it myself. So now that that's done, I will work on the bottom now. I'll do the marks down here and here, and I'll probably dip down a bit. Not sure how far I'll dip, but it's not going to dip too much. Just a little bit. This, I may have to change my positioning so I can get a more stable position. Just move this heater. I should turn this heater on. It's a good idea, but it's loud. I'm going to ruin the audio. Just keep working on this. You can see my groove. As you can see, I'm working material off, and I think you can see a little bit of a dip. I'm not really sure how much I want to go down. It's quite hard to actually control the Dremel because it likes to walk. So I will have to work on this real slowly. The lighting is not great. I don't actually have an extra lamp in this room. All lighting you see is all lighting I'm gonna get. I could like put a torch on my head or something, but it is what it is. Well, my camera stopped recording. I don't know how much it didn't record. hopefully it recorded me talking about cutting the bottom. If it didn't show that getting cut, sorry. But I can't say too much about it. But I'm gonna cut. But I'm cutting the undercut on the bottom. That's about all I dare to cut with the Dremel. I do have some sandpaper sitting around somewhere. Here it is. Just got some sandpaper. I ripped off a little bit. This is 120 grit, and I'm going to pretty much just sand down the rough edges that I got. Finished product. It is very nice looking. Obviously I use nice looking gray. Let me see. It does look like crap right now, so just be honest. It's marks everywhere from the Dremel. I mean, it is smooth. I did exactly what I wanted to do. It's all done. Down here it's a bit rougher, but then the stippling is going to make it all fine. Up here it's quite hard. What I wanted to do though, when I was doing it, I wanted to stop around here with the Dremel, but obviously it was very hard, and I had to use the tip of the Dremel and kind of sand it down a bit. Obviously down here is very easy, but up here is a lot harder to do. But I also got rid of the texturing on the front, or as much as I really need. As you can still see, there's a little bit of marking. Just a little bit, but honestly it really don't matter once you get to stippling. And then there's the undercut over here. Hopefully you can see that it is cut a little bit more. And up here it was quite hard to actually do it. It's not exactly even. As you can see, this part is a little lower in the front. I'm not too sure I'm going to fix that. I think I'm going to use some sandpaper and just rub on it. I'm not going to work with the Dremel anymore. I don't want to just go with the Dremel. As well as on the top. This is sanded down. This was very easy. You just basically run a Dremel here for a little bit. That's gone. So that's about it. Obviously it's a little rough. It'll take some work off camera to do. I'm not going to do it on screen. It might take a while, and it's not really footage that I don't know if you guys want to see. But basically I'm going to be using essentially sandpaper, just rubbing it down, smoothing it out, trying to get this part a little more even looking. So if I go get the slide and frame, so I also should mention, this is the mag release that I did take out from the Glock. I'm not going to put it back in because I still don't want it in, so I can actually do the stippling. But so I'll just quickly assemble it back together. So this is how it looks right now with the markings on it, and this is how it's got a barrel point too. This is how it looks, obviously how it should look. There's a bit of a cut here. I mean, they still have checkering on the top and the bottom, but I added that because that's WE's molding. But you can see they have, I can find a good angle with my hand. You can see they have the undercut down there as well as a cut over here. So your finger kind of ride up a bit higher. As well as they got rid of the texturing on the front, they put the stippling on the back too. Next up, we are going to be stippling this. Once this is fully done, we will be starting to stipple it. How I'm going to stipple it, I'm going to do stippling up here, over here, on the front, on the bottom here, and then we're going to do the main stippling around here, over the front, over the sides, over the back. So it's gonna roughly run around here, go up here or something, it'll drop down, go along this line here, and then I think go back up to about here, I think, and then it'll go down through here, and then it will loop around and it'll come around here. And then obviously the entire bottom will be done. I'll go around the Glock logo. And then, like I said, I'll do the front or the back. And the comet cut, I think I will stipple it first, and then I will look into doing the comet cut. I'm not too sure if I want to do the comet cut. I'm not too really sure if I'm going to be able to. I don't want to go through. I don't want to go through the plastic. I don't want to go too far. I do have a bit that looks like it'll work, but it may be a bit too deep. It may not be shallow enough. So we'll see in the future if I'm going to be able to do the comet cut. I want to be able to do it. I should be able to do it, I think. I should be able to do it. It might not be as large as they typically are, but we will see. Once we finish with the stippling, we'll see if we can do the comet cut. And after the comet cut, which probably I will actually finish the stippling by the end of, in at least 2 weeks, definitely. In 2 weeks, the stippling will probably be done, and hopefully the video will be out by then. But as of right now, I still don't have any parts. The websites are still down and they come back up in February, so I have to wait a while. So while I'm waiting, obviously I'm doing all this work. This was the hardest part done. I'm very happy with it. Even though the cuts are fairly small and they aren't the most professional, I did them myself, so you get that satisfaction of knowing that this is your own pistol. You've done all the work on it. So I was a bit nervous about it when I was starting working on this tonight, but I'm very happy with how it turned out. So that's pretty much the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed watching this video and you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to follow along with the video content. This is really an exciting build for me. I'm very happy with it. I'm very excited so far. Like I said, this is the farthest I've ever gone with a pistol, or with any upgrading in general. So this is new territory for me, and I hope you guys enjoy.